In this video, we are again going to be solving one-step equations, but this time that one step is going to be to undo either multiplication or division. So again, it's one step because we only have one operation to undo, which is the multiplication. Again, we will undo this with the inverse operation. Our goal is to isolate the variable, and in order to get the variable by itself, I have to undo the multiplication of the 2 in this case. Again, you have to think of every equation as a balance scale, and that whatever you do to one side, you have to make sure that you are doing to the other side. So, in this case, again, I have to undo multiplication, and the inverse of multiplication is division. That's the inverse operation. So what I'm going to do here is divide by 2, and of course, then on that side of the equation, to balance the scale, I will also divide by 2. Now, 2 divided by 2 is 1. So this becomes 1 times x. 0 was our additive identity, and 1 is our multiplicative identity. So by getting the identity, I can just take x times 1 to get just x, which now I have gotten my goal of isolating the variable. Now on this side, I have to do the math. If I divided by 2 there, I have to divide by 2 here. 14 divided by 2 is 7. Therefore, x equals 7. Again, it is very important to check your answer. 2 times 7 does in fact equal 14, so it does check. All right. Now, if there is a division problem, so if there is a division problem that looks like this, again, we are going to use the inverse operation. Again, I want to isolate the variable, get x by itself, so I have to undo the division of 5. The inverse operation of division is multiplication. So it's a balance scale. I need to multiply, I write it over to the side, multiply by 5, and to balance my scale, I need to multiply by 5 over here. Now, 5 times 1/5, or the division of 5 times 5, gives you that multiplicative identity of 1 times x. 10 times 5 is 50. X times 1 is x. So I have again isolated my variable, gotten that it equals 50. 50 divided by 5 is in fact 10, so I have a correct answer. Now, there becomes that point where we will start to skip the step of taking 1 times x, because we know that we are just going to get to x. So in another example, x divided by 4 equals 21. So again, I'm doing division. I need to isolate my variable. The inverse operation of division is multiplication. The multiplication and division actually cancel each other out. So a lot of times we will just do that. It cancels each other out because, as I showed you in the previous, it would give us that identity of 1 times x, which gets us to x. So we're just kind of skipping that step of having to do the 1 times x. Now, I need to make sure that I balance my scale and multiply by 4 on this side. I'm left with just the variable, which is what I wanted, which is just x. 21 times 4 is 84. So x is equal to 84. And again, make sure to check your answer. We can do that same thing with a multiplication. Negative 5x equals 30. Again, I'm going the other way, saying that the inverse operation of multiplication is division. So I need to divide by negative 5 and balance my scale. Now, before, I would have said that this equals 1 times x, which you can still do, but you can shortcut it in saying that that cancels. The multiplication and the division cancel each other out. We're left with just x. 30 divided by negative 5 is negative 6. And again, make sure to check your answer.